Today is a very special video. I'm here in Mariposa for the 3rd annual Garrett Nugget Shootout. There are a ton of YouTubers down here.
Look at this detector.
Brand new. We're gonna all go detecting for gold and see what we can find.
There's a different sound when you're on steel, okay?
Right there. That's what gold would sound like. I'm gonna go down in this little wash right below where this vein outcrops. We're doing one last sweep. I think I got my first little nugget. This whole event today is put on by Garrett Metal Detector, so I'm gonna get a little crash course in how to use their newest flagship machine. So let's go over and Dave from Gold Bay is gonna show us how to use this thing, and then we'll get out detecting, find some gold.
Oh, they just turned that on and off.
And then you pump it up and down a few times like this. Did you hear how it's smoothed out?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're ground balanced. So now what we want to do is you start swinging and you're listening for any interruption in the sound. So you want to hear any tone that, here's what gold nuggets really usually sound like. They don't sound like this. They don't typically sound like that. You might hear something that's,
I gotta move this.
you hear that, just that very faint.
Yeah.
So when you hear even that subtle of a change in the sound, that means you're on a target that you need to at least investigate. So there's that. Okay, this is gold in this one. And there's a different sound when you're on steel, okay? It goes to a low tone first and then a high tone. Whereas this is, you hear the high tone first? It's kind of, I call it sweet sound.
All right, Your Honor. Judge of the day.
Look at this detector.
Brand new.
Let's make sure it's charged.
All right, Garrett.
Oh, we're gonna go up the hill.
Garrett's providing me with the detector today.
Huh?
This is the Axiom, right, Dan?
This is the Axiom, and it's going crazy because we're on someone's frequency right now.
And I'll bring you down the sunscreen.
Look at all that gold we're finding already. All right, here's my machine.
And
Good luck, Jason.
And
Yeah.
one for you as
too,
well.
Henry.
Brand new.
All right, first 10, 15 minutes. Here's our first target. And I'll turn 90 like Dave was showing us. So kind of right there. Dig a hole. Got it down to this clay ball here. See if I can do this with one hand and not lose it. It's in this dirt piece. Okay, let me sort that and I'll show you what it is. Well, here it is. I'm not sure what it is yet. Let's see if I can clean it off. It doesn't look like a natural gold nugget, but might be a wire. I broke it open. It's a little piece of iron nail or boot tack or something. But I'm finding stuff. Here's my 3rd target of the day. This one was pretty impressive. That little tiny piece of wire there. I dug that about 3 inches down in this hole. This Axiom picked it up just screaming. So that's pretty impressive. This thing can find really fine metallic stuff. All right, here is what we're looking for. Now I'm in my element. So I've been detecting across this hill. I was gonna work my way down to this little draw here, but I just came across what I know best. Little prospect pit, quartz all over the place. I'm gonna set up camp here and just rake through this quartz, spread it out, and see what I can find. It doesn't look like anybody's ever been here. The quartz pile is pretty much intact. Nobody's been raking through it yet. So I'm feeling like I'm in a good spot. Let's see what I can find. All right, we got our first big hit here in this quartz pile. Probably an old shovel or something, but we're digging it. A little shell. That's what gold would sound like. So we're in the right spot. And that also tells me that this pile hasn't been picked over too bad, because that was an easy signal right on the surface. So I'm gonna work in here quite a bit. All right, I got a real faint signal here right under this tree. I dug down a couple inches and the signal got stronger. It sounds pretty good. So let's dig this piece of gold, huh? I'll show you here, the deeper I go, the stronger it gets. Right over there. I like that it's in the pile, because that means it's not just a surface tin can or something. So unless it's a piece of tramp iron from the miners that dug the hole, there's a good chance there's gold there. All right, I got it out of the hole. Right there. It's not that. Is it in this glob? Nope. I guess I cut myself. No. No. Okay. Where's the chunk of iron? Where is it? There it is. Right there. And a bullet shell again. Bummer. But it's just like gold, and we're finding it in the pile. So if there's gold in here, we'll be finding it. Whew, boy. Well, I didn't find much in this hole here. I didn't find any gold. I found a lot of bullets and old shells. What's that? Did I touch my foot? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's my boot. I'm gonna go down in this little wash right below where this vein outcrops and see if over the millions of years any gold's washed down into there, and see if we can find anything down there. Use Mother Nature as concentration. All right, I've been moving all over the place now. I've followed that quartz vein down the hill. There's quartz float all over the place running into this wash. The wash has been pounded pretty good. I found all kinds of holes and where people have been digging, but I've been trying to stay 5 to 10 feet up the bank on the side of the hill where the quartz is coming down. So if there's gold that's eroding out of the quartz and rolling down to the creek and hasn't got there yet, I'll find it on the side hill. I've got a really nice hit here, which I'm about 5 feet above the creek under a big dead bush. Let's see what this is. Probably more bullet lead. All right, let me put this down. Here's what I got. I think I got my first little nugget. Let's let Harry look at it. Give me your approval. I'll put it in my mouth if you don't want to put it in your mouth. I already put a big chunk of lead in my mouth today.
What is that? I don't know what that is, dude.
Let me wash it off.
Looks like lead. Oh, here.
Yeah, oh yeah, look at that. Think it's lead?
Looks like lead. Put it in your mouth.
Maybe it's lead. I don't want to put it in my mouth. I'll spit on it. Yep, foiled again. Little piece of bullet lead, I think. Keep looking. The good thing is I'm finding a lot of non-ferrous small targets like this size, right? That's the prime size for gold nuggets. So I know it hasn't been absolutely pounded. I'm still finding targets. I'm just not finding the gold yet. So we'll keep looking. Well, it's after lunch. Dan Hurd just found a beautiful piece. I didn't even want to look at it because I'm so jealous. And he's the judge. Talk about a conflict of interest. But no, it's a beautiful piece. Check out Dan's channel to see that one, because I'm not going to put it on here. I'm going to go find my own. But I'm going to go kind of on the other side towards the east, see if I can find some in this other wash. And cross your fingers for me, because I need to find some gold for these guys. All right, well, it's the end of the first day. Still haven't found any gold. but I'm digging a lot of trash, cleaning this place up. Harry and I are working our way home with our tail tucked between our legs, but we've got tomorrow, and I think we're gonna have a good shot tomorrow of finding some gold, as well as maybe getting a tour up top of the workings where they're finding their really good stuff. So tomorrow, start over and try again.
Uh-oh.
Where'd your signal go?
I don't know.
It was screaming earlier. False alarm. All right, it's day 2. I'm terribly backlit, but Harry and I are gonna work our way down to that quartz prospect pit that we saw yesterday, and we're just gonna rake that thing out. We were struggling yesterday to find gold. There were some real nice non-ferrous targets in there, but we're gonna hit that hard and see if we can rake out some of that stuff and find some targets that haven't been exposed yet to detectors. And if worse comes to worse, we got piles out here that they brought down from up top. And so maybe if in the last hour we haven't found anything, we'll come back and work these piles. But wish us luck. All right, we just made it this pile. Harry's taking the first shift, raking it out. And we're just looking for gold. I got a pretty nice hit on this rock here, which I really like. So we're gonna bust this dude open and see what we got in here.
Let me brush it with a brush first before you crack it open.
Sure. Let me roll this thing around a little bit. Whoop! Don't hit it with the detector. So there's nothing underneath.
Oh, my lucky brush.
Nothing here. Right there on that face.
Let me see that spoon in case it's stuck to it.
Yeah, okay. That big rusty pocket right there might be. All right, let's see what we find here. Yeah, that might be a piece of rust
like
stuck
rust.
to it. Well, whatever it was, it's in the spoon. We brushed it off the surface.
Not very big.
No, there's a big rust pocket on top.
Guess I should use a magnet, right? Sounds better. Oh, jeez.
Steel.
I don't know what that is. It's a piece of lead. Piece of lead
Let's see.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like it was supposed to, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good little size for
Yeah.
detecting. There you go.
Junk.
All right, keep looking. We can find it if it's here. So this is the kind of stuff I can find with this Axiom too. It's a little teeny tiny shaving of steel. It doesn't, I mean, it's almost weightless. It probably came off the fin hoe or something, some tool we're using, but it's pretty amazing I can detect that. If that was a piece of gold, it'd be a sub half a gram. And I pulled it down from about 2 inches.
I think we're creating our own targets.
We're creating our own targets.
This is going backwards.
We're working this pile down, finding little bits. No gold yet. Harry's got a target there. My strategy is I make a trench, pull everything into a pile so Harry can detect it. And then when he's done detecting that pile, I'll flatten it out down the hill so he can detect if there's any small stuff in there. And then I'll rake some more down out of there and make a pile. So we got a 2-stage process. Let's see what Harry's got. Man, we've dug a lot of trash. We've dug a lot of bullets, a lot of copper jackets, a lot of brass shells. So if the gold is here, we'll find it. But I think we're kind of giving up hope on the pile. They've got those piles up top that Harry and I are too proud or stubborn to go detect. I really want to find one in the wild rather than being spoon-fed one, but here at the last hour we might go up there and give in. I don't know, Harry, how do you feel about it?
No comment.
There you go. Let's see what we got here.
I do like this little pinpoint deal because I don't have to bend over and try to, you know, stick a little pinpointer in there. So I do like that feature of this machine. So
Right.
I do have to give a shout out for that one. And if I can get it in the spoon on the first try, I'm happy. If not, I get frustrated.
I do too.
Over there.
I start cussing and swearing if I can't get it by the third one. I'm mad. Oh, lucky.
Yeah.
It's big. Copper.
Copper.
More copper.
That's some beautiful copper oxide right there.
Yeah.
Early 1900s copper.
Beautiful green copper. Now where's the gold?
It's over there in those pity piles.
Yeah, it's in the pity piles. All right, here's more copper.
All right, let's get it in there.
Oh, was that green I just saw go into your hand? Yeah.
I wonder if that's blasting cap.
Oh. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, I think that might be blasting cap. It's too thin to be a casing.
That would make a lot more sense.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're finding is the old blasting cap.
That would make a lot more sense. Like, how are they shooting 2 feet into the pile and getting trapped? Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now there's a little more story behind this hole in the ground.
Yeah, somebody wanted down in there.
That would explain why there's quartz all over the place. They're shooting it out of the ground.
Yeah. Where's the gold?
Imagine the fly rock on that.
No kidding, right? More blasting cap. All right, we've been here probably a couple hours. We got the pile raked out pretty darn good. Found lots of little blasting caps, copper, jackets, whatever those things were. No gold. Probably why this thing isn't a huge hole in the ground. But we're doing one last sweep. And then I think it might be time to go up to the pity piles and find some gold. I don't know if I'm too proud to do that or not, but we'll find out. Ow, bugs. All right, Gold Bay Dave's out here scraping some land for us. We're gonna try a spot that's essentially virgin. We'll scrape a couple inches off and we'll go in there and look, see what we can find. All right, guys, well, the competition has just about ended, so I think we're gonna go back and get all weighed up. I have yet to find a piece of gold, so I did not do as well as I'd hoped, but Harry has a really nice piece from Mine Operator. I think he's gonna be the winner. So go check out Harry's channel. He's gonna make a video on this whole trip, and he has some really amazing gold. There's a lot of other YouTubers here as well, so check out their channels. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different views of this event. A big thanks to Garrett for letting us use and borrow the Axiom. Good machine. I'm not a detectorist, but I found a lot of really, really small pieces with it. So if I found a piece of gold, I would have picked it up. And a big thanks to our hosts, Brian and Dave. They're finding a lot of gold here. So if you want to follow them, I'll leave a link in the description below as well. So thanks to everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next video.